The last outing for the FIA GTs was at Hockenheim, and Mercedes-Benz made it 3 out of 3, with Bernd Schneider and Mark Webber leading home a Stuttgart 1-2 in the new lightweight V8 car. For Porsche, the weekend was a nightmare. This was Uwe Altson's accident when he was going for third place. Happily, he was unhurt, but all the works Porsches hit trouble, although Alan McNish salvaged a single point by finishing 6th. Here in France, on the twisty little Dijon circuit, the Mercedes have again qualified at the front, with championship leaders Schneider and Webber just ahead of teammates Ludwig and Zonta. But Uwe Altson and Jörg Müller are third quickest in their Porsche, with Alan McNish and Yannick Dalmas 5th. And the thunderous Paynos of David Brabham and Eric Bernard is on row 4, hoping to repeat its podium at Hockenheim. So the two silver Mercedes lead the rolling grid round to the start line, with Altson's Porsche and the blue Persson Mercedes of Christophe Bouchou on row 2, and they're away. Schneider immediately going into the lead. Schneider ahead of Ludwig as they go down to the first corner. It's Christophe Bouchou in third place in the blue Mercedes. Then it's Uwe Altson, Yannick Dalmas, Gounod in the second blue Mercedes, and the Paynos is up there in 7th place. That's Eric Bernard, but through the sweeps behind the pits and this wonderful little Dijon circuit, it's the two silver arrows in front. Schneider from Ludwig, Bouchou, Mercedes 1, 2, 3, then the two Porsches of Altson and Dalmas, and the rest of the field strung out as they come into the tight uphill hairpin. Jean-Marc Gounod in 6th place in the second of the two blue Mercedes. Then it's Eric Bernard in the silver Paynos, and behind him, battling for 8th place, the two green Porsches. They're side by side as they come down the hill. Sandy Grau shutting out Michael Bartels and holding on to his 8th place. It's only the first lap, but they're already battling very close indeed. There are the two white and blue Vipers in 1st and 2nd place in the important GT2 category. Remember this, like all the rounds of the FIA.GT Championship, 2 races in 1 for the GT1 cars and the GT2s, which are much more in production trim. Mercedes and Porsche complete the first lap, with already Bernd Schneider pulling out. The silver car with the yellow mirrors is Bernd Schneider's leading Mercedes, and look at this lead he's got already on the second lap. Schneider absolutely charging, building up a huge cushion over the pursuit, while his teammate Ludwig keeps the rest of them back. We've already got a customer in the pits. That's Bruno Eichmann's GT2 911 Porsche. They're topping it up with fuel, but I don't think that's why it came in. It must have some sort of problem as we look at the red mirrored number 2 Mercedes in 2nd place. That's Klaus Ludwig, with Christophe Bouchou in the blue car in 3rd place, and the Porsches behind him with Uwe Altson leading Yannick Dalmas, and the Paynos already on their tail. The Paynos up to 6th place. Jean-Marc Gounod has yielded 6th place to the silver front-engined American Paynos. They're the two Porsches. Uwe Altson, the car with the yellow splashes on the front, and the red splashes are on the front of its teammate, driven by the Frenchman Yannick Dalmas. That's the car that will be shared later in the race by Alan McNish, the Le Mans winning Scot, who is very much at the sharp end of this works Porsche team. Yet to have any real success in the FIA GT Championship rounds, however. There's the Paynos, front engine, big pushrod V8 American engine, almost a vintage car in this exotic company. But Eric Bernard really pushing on, going round the outside of one of the little 911 Porsches there, and closing on the cars in front, charging along in that grumbling, thunderous Paynos. And Uwe Altson trying to go round the outside of the back marker. Bouchou is being overwhelmed by the two Porsches. Look at Dalmas going through on the outside. Dalmas has made up 2 places, and they're so close as they cross the start-finish line, but in all of that, Yannick Dalmas has gone ahead of Bouchou's Porsche, and Altson has been pushed to the back of that little group, and he's now being pushed by the Paynos. A tremendous 4-car battle going on there for 3rd place. The man who's got 3rd place now is Yannick Dalmas. Bouchou is 4th. In 5th place, it's Uwe Altson, and the Paynos is 6th, but pushing Altson very hard indeed. It's very twisty, it's narrow, we're seeing it again. Altson pushed right off to the side of the road, and as he does so, Yannick Dalmas takes an opportunist move down the right-hand side of the road and finds himself in third place. Still the two silver Mercedes, first and second, Schneider leading Ludwig, Dalmas's Porsche now third, Bouchou's blue Mercedes fourth, Uwe Altzen in fifth place, there's Bouchou in fourth, behind him Altzen and Bernard in the Pénoz, and then in seventh place it's Jean-Marc Gounon in the second of the two blue Mercedes, with Sandy Grau in eighth place in the green Zakspeed Porsche. There is the Zakspeed Porsche using Pirelli tyres, incidentally. The Zakspeed cars run on Pirellis, the Works Porsches run on Michelin's, and they seem to have the edge. As we look now at the Pénoz ahead of Altzen. Uwe Altzen has lost a further place because the Pénoz has passed the Works Porsche and is now breathing down the neck of Christophe Bouchou. There is Bouchou, there is the Pénoz now in fifth place, with Uwe Altzen behind in sixth. As the brake lights go on, they queue up behind one of the little GT2 Porsches. It's very tight and twisty around this circuit at Dijon, and you have to pick your way past the cars. And look at Bernard going one side then the other as he tries to get past that little GT2 Porsche. He does so eventually, almost giving Uwe Altzen a chance to get his fifth place back, but Bernard was quick enough to shut the door. And as they go away up the hill again through that long left-hander, we ride now with Klaus Ludwig in the second-placed car, and he too is having his troubles with the traffic. Klaus Ludwig in the second-place Mercedes, weaving his way through these 911s, which are themselves working as hard as they can. The man in front with locking brakes and opposite lock before he moves away to the left of the track, and Klaus Ludwig is able to go through the right-hander over the brow and on now to the start-finish straight to complete another lap. That's Ludwig in second place. Both Ludwig and Schneider, the leader, using the latest V8 lightweight CLK Mercedes, as opposed to the heavier earlier cars, the blue Person cars, which use the big V12 engine. And we've got the fourth-placed Person blue V12 Mercedes coming into the pit lane now. That's Christophe Bouchou coming in for his first routine stop, and his co-driver Bernd Mailander ready, but I don't think he's going to get in the other blue one here as well, because in now has come Jean-Marc Gounon as well, both the blue Mercedes in at once. A lot of work going on in the Person pit. Marcel Thiemann also not taking over. There's the Marcos running in third place in GT1 behind the two Vipers, with the Pénoz about to gobble it up. Two big front-engine V8s, the GT2 Marcos, the GT1 Pénoz, and the Pénoz goes past the multicoloured Marcos as into the pits now comes the lead Viper. The leading GT1 Viper is in the pit lane. Olivier Beretta has just brought that car in. He and his co-driver Pedro Lamy have been dominating GT1 this year. There's Beretta out, and Pedro Lamy, the Portuguese, squeezes himself in over those big protective tubes at the side of the Viper's cockpit, and we see a GT1 Porsche gobbling up a GT2. That is the Uwe Altzen car, and you get some idea of the difference of speed between these two cars, both of them rear engine. One you can buy in a showroom, one you certainly can't. And Eric Bernard brings the Pénoz in for its routine stop. David Brabham will be waiting, and we've got the leader in, Bernd Schneider. Bernd Schneider staying in the cockpit. They're refueling. Now, they're not allowed to start on the tyres until they've finished the refueling. That's what the rules say. So as soon as the refueling is finished, then the mechanics by the wheels can start undoing the wheels and getting the fresh rubber on. The fuel's still going in, and in now we've got Uwe Altzen's car. Uwe Altzen being refueled as well, and Jörg Müller getting into that car. And so all of that means that Klaus Ludwig in the silver Mercedes with the red mirrors is now in the lead. He has yet to make his first pit stop, as Bernd Schneider's car is almost completed down here in the pits. Klaus Ludwig on his way, and Yannick Dalmas is not far behind him in second place in the Porsche. Headlights blazing, the Mercedes and the Porsche go through. Off the jacks now comes Bernd Schneider's car. It's got its fresh rubber. Bernd Schneider has stayed aboard. Mark Webber doesn't get to work in the cockpit yet, and out of the pit lane comes Bernd Schneider, the current leader in the FIA GT Championship. Behind him out comes Jörg Müller in the Uwe Altzen Porsche as well, but we've got Ludwig's Mercedes now leading, Yannick Dalmas's Porsche in second place, by virtue of the fact that neither of them have yet made their first routine stop. There with the yellow mirrors is Bernd Schneider. and Schneider, now with fresh rubber and fresh fuel aboard, can settle down to his second stint and really start motoring to rebuild the lead that, oh, a little twitch there from Schneider on his new tyres, which perhaps aren't quite up to operating temperature yet. There's the